Welcome to my show, Valor and Wisdom. Roses are red, violets are blue. Hello, Mr. Chauhan. How are you?
I like that introduction,
Thank you
Amit.
so much.
So it is a beautiful spring day. Here your program for today.
Sure, Mr. Chauhan. So, to all my viewers, today we're going to Rastarism or the Parsis. So, who are the Parsis? So, majority of the Indians doesn't know about the Parsi community. So let me give you a small introduction about the history of Parsis. So during the 7th century, when the Arab invaded Persia, majority of the Zoroastrian religion, the people, they fled away from the Persia and they came to India in Gujarat, where a Hindu king, Maharaja J.D. Rana, gave them a shelter. And we already discussed about the story of the sugar in the milk, where the Zoroastrian priest informed to the Hindu king they will dissolve in the community the same way how the sugar was dissolved in the milk. So this is the introduction of a Parsi community in India. And afterwards, the Parsis are flourished happily in India. So let me tell you about the Parsis. Parsi is the community name. Their religion is Zoroastrianism. Parsi have their own temple, which we know as the fire temple. And Parsi live by a three pillars of principle: good words, good deeds, and good thoughts. Majority of the Indians, when we say a Parsi, they just simply remember about the Bollywood movies where you see Parsis saying, Are Dikra, something like that. But there is more to learn about the Parsi community. So, Parsi, because I also have my Parsi friend and I live among the Parsi people. Parsi are famous for their food. Their food are so tasty. The great wine. They are very jovial, funny, and honest. And in India, we know some of the most famous Parsi family which contributed in the economy of the India growth, like the Ratan Tata, the Tatas, the Godrej, Wadia, Poonawalla, and many more. And if you don't know, the majority of the Bombay building structures was designed and crafted by the Parsi community, like the Taj Hotel, Craftwood Market, and many more. And they have a different kind of costume or clothes. Like the men wear a full white pant and white shirt with a black hat, and with the women, they wear a sari, which we know as a Gara sari. It was handed embroidered by the Chinese artisans. And let me give you a small similarities between the Parsis and the Hindus, the Sanatan. So the same goes with the Hindus, where when we worship, we use the fire, water, flower, and thread. And the same time with the Parsi, they also use the same things when they do the worship. When the Brahmins wear a sacred thread, the same goes with the Parsis. And the majority of the Indians doesn't know that when the Parsi prays, they have a word like Lakshmi and Vidya, which denotes to the wisdom and well-being. Same goes with the Hindus, the Sanatan. We have a goddess Lakshmi and goddess Vidya, which denotes the wisdom and the well-being. And majority of the people doesn't know that Parsi doesn't worship the fire. Actually, that fire symbolizes the divine energy, exactly like what we use in our Sanatan Dharma, Agni Puja. So this is the similarity between the Parsis and the Hindus. And we have many more celebrities coming from the Parsi communities, like my favorite Field Marshal SHFJ Sam Manekshaw. When the first time my dad took me to the army cantonment, that's the first time I saw the Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. And when I ask about the Parsi community, my dad told me one thing is that the Parsis are the God gift to India, and which they are. Wherever the Parsi goes, the economies bloom, happiness is there, the complete state of country will flourish. And then we have the Indian nuclear programmer, Homi Bhabha. We have a famous musician, Freddie Mercury, and JRD Tata, the legend itself, Ratan Tata sir. So these are your Parsi community. So every Indians knows about your community, the Parsi, which we don't know. So Mr. Chauhan, what do you think about that part of history?
Excellent. We did the program on Ratan Tata,
Yes.
who, as you know, is the person who currently owns Jaguar in England. And
Yes.
each time I drive my Jaguar, I feel very good about two things actually. One, that if I had practiced my barrister's profession in London, England, which they didn't let me do, then I would have been very happy to think that the Jaguar, that a lot of the barristers who were successful in London, England, were driving that car. But I have to drive that in Canada because I had to fulfill my dream to drive that car in Canada, where I could practice as a lawyer. I became a deputy judge in this country, retired, and then I continue as a lawyer. So that's my first connection with the Parsi people, as who are Ratan Tata and his company that now manufactures successfully Jaguar cars in England, employing more people in the car manufacturing sector than any other person in England. But
Yes.
Ratan Tata was asked once a question actually, does you consider yourself to be Parsi or you Indian? And he said, we consider ourselves to be Indian. And I was very proud to hear that statement because the Parsi people have contributed a huge amount in many respects. I'll tell you one story that I was sitting many years ago with my wife, who's by the way English origin, and we were in a hotel near the entrance of the India, where the entrance of India, which is the Bombay. See, all the historical invasions to India came from the Khyber Pass on the northwest of the Himalayan mountains. But the British
Yes.
had the naval force, and after defeating at Trafalgar Square, 1805, both the French and the Spanish naval fleet, they came by ship to India. And there was a hotel, where Taj Hotel, which is just behind the Gateway of India, where my
Yes.
wife and I stayed. And I remember getting a huge plate of fruit. When we order fruit in the morning, the plate was this big, about almost 2 feet in diameter, full of fruit. And then I opened a book in the hotel that told the story of the hotel. That
Yes.
hotel was taken over by the British, who did not let Indian people in their own country stay in the hotel. So they built another hotel actually for Indian
Yes.
people, which was equally good and where Indian people could stay. So when I saw this other hotel created by the Parsi people, then I was really proud to see that what they've achieved for Indian people. So most important message to those who are Parsi people listening to this program is that we want to thank them for coming to India. They contributed a huge amount, very unlike other invaders to India actually, including the British, the Mughals, etc., who use the country to exploit the country for their own benefit. But they are an exemplary example of people who came to India, integrated, and very happily I want to say to you that they came to Gujarat.
Yes.
And they came to a town called Sanjan, where their fire is still burning after 1,000 years.
Yes.
And I wish I could see Sanjan, but I have a friend actually who's a lawyer, and he did tell me about, he grew up in that town. And many of the Parsis who took over the Gujarati language, and they speak the language with a slight accent, but then I can speak in the same language, which is a Gujarati language, which I also speak.
Yes.
A lot of them to Bombay, and I've also visited their Parsi club. And here in Canada, I got to know Nilufar, who is a person of Parsi origin, and I also helped train her daughter Tazeen. And so I got to know the Parsi community better in this town, Richmond Hill, Canada as well. So it has been a pleasure to know them. And I
Yes.
congratulate that community for what they've done for India.
Yeah.
And they are capable of doing. One person that I also heard of, I'd love to meet again, is Rohinton Mistry. I shook hands with him once. He wrote the many number of novels and a very recognized writer as well. So they are extremely accomplished people, and the Western people see all Indians as one group. They never understood that different Indians have different kinds of achievements, of which now Parsis as one group are very high achievers in Indian society. So that's
Yes.
my message to the people listening to this tape. If you like this video, please sign up at the bottom and send it to all your friends and relatives, and hope to see you again.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Chauhan. As this message is for every Indians, that you have to understand who are your neighbors, who are your friends, because the majority of people doesn't know who are the Parsis. So know them, work with them, live with them. It's the same group because I stay with many Parsi friends, so I know them very well. And to every Parsi community, the Bahis community, the Iranis community, I just want to say Happy Nowruz. So,
Oh, I should say that this is the time of Nowruz, right today.
yeah, yes,
All the Iranian friends and Parsi friends of different religions, but they both celebrate Nowruz. So happy Nowruz to both of them.
yeah, sure, Mr. Sean. And thank you so much, Mr. Sean. Take care. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.